1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phone. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If on the other hand you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 20th day of July, 2020. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. It will also give you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. On the days you're out of your office, away from your desktop, point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live. There you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. You just won't have access to the chat box. We also stream live during this broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, CFRN Radio streams 24/7, around the clock, 365, since April 2005. Okay, let's open with a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for all of your blessings, for your mercy, for your grace. We woke up this morning, God, we turned on the TV again. Maybe we should learn not to do that. And again, the news is devastating. So many people are hurting, angry, bitter, full of hate for each other. You are the only answer to the destruction in our world right now. Please, God, heal the hearts of those involved in these tragedies and shelter them under your wings of refuge. Remind us that you alone are in control and that you do hear our cries and that you do mourn with us. Please be with the families of every person shot this weekend. Every life matters. I thank you for who you are, God, and who you continue to be in the midst of pain and deadly violence. Jesus, come soon. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, let's take a look at the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, the indices as they're called. Start here in the U.S. We are in earnings season. The only FANG stock that's reported yet is Netflix. They beat the estimate, and yet in after-hours trading last week, they were down $100 a share. Still got Facebook, Apple, Google, and some other high flyers. So, I don't know if Netflix is setting the tone for this earnings season, but certainly is a possibility. All right, here we go. In the U.S., the Dow currently down 69 points. NASDAQ up 155. There's some divergence. S&P 500 up 11. Russell 2000 down 6. Now, the only mover and shaker in that bunch would be the NASDAQ up 155 points. That's a gain of 1.5%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 8 cents, trading 40.67 last. And a reminder, we have rolled crude forward to the U contract. Gold up $7.90, trading 17.90 last. Might as well mention silver as well. Silver up 45 cents, trading 20.21.5 last. Now that's a gain of a little over 2%. And we had an alert last night, which I'll show you just real quick. This is silver. We had a CTA analogic alert last night to be long silver 1982. And when I snapped this, or when I annotated this chart, we were at 42 cents. That's a move of $2,400 per contract. So silver is definitely outpacing gold, and we've talked a number of times here over the last few weeks about the potential for silver to double much sooner and in a much simpler manner than gold. If you think about it, gold has to go to $3,600 to double whatever investment you might put into gold. Silver, on the other hand, when we started talking about it at 18, had to go to $36. Now, silver has been to $36 before. It's much simpler for a market to go to a place where it has been before. Gold, we're approaching all-time historic highs established in 2011. In the Asian markets today at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 21 points. Shanghai rose 100. The Hang Seng dropped 31. And for the Shanghai, even though it's a gain of only 100 points for the Shanghai, that's a gain of a little over 3%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 28, the DAX up 127, that's 1%, and the CAC up 23. That gives us a mixed day in Asia, mixed day in the UK, and it is a mixed day here in the US of A, with the NASDAQ and the S&P both in the green, the Dow and the Russell both in the red. Let's go to Michael and get a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room. When he's done, I'll be back. We'll cover the Concierge Trade Alerts from last night. We'll cover the Logic 247 alerts. And gold. Gold right now, or in today's session, hit the highest price it's seen since September 2011. 9-year intraday high. And silver hit a 4-year peak. That's in today's trading session, but we'll talk about that and more in detail when I come back. Michael, you can take it away.
Okay. Here I go. Let me just send that quick email. All right. So you can see my charts. Everybody can see my charts right now. And here we go. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's Monday, the 20th day of July, 2020. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. And right here it says free 5-day trial. Click on that. It's going to bring you to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. And you can tell us the biggest trading challenge. So we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button. You'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? If you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So you got to click that link. Now, results. Today we had it. It started out a great morning. It ended up, above average morning, but there was a lot of periods in there, a lot of time in there, and I'll go over this where there was just no opportunity. But if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 20th day of July, 2020. Today we made 27 ticks in crude oil and 16 ticks in gold. Put us at plus $430 a contract on the morning session. And today it took 29 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 8 trades. So on the month now, we're up $4,711. That's over 13 trading days, averaging $362 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And that's really, when I get into it, you'll see that's missing most of the trades. Just picking up a few. Almost always in the first half hour. See, this one day, it took more than a half an hour to get the goal for the day. But you see all the 1s and 2s that are in here? We only had 2 days so far this month out of 13 that it took more than 2 trades to get the goal for the day. All right. On the year now, we're at $48,276. That's over 131 trading days. Averaging $368 per contract per trading day. Okay. So that first half hour is critical. Some people say it's not. I say it is. Now, let's scroll back here, and we'll start out with gold. Okay, on the gold, we had this huge move down right here in the first, 3 or 4 minutes. We had a huge move down, but we didn't get a trade set up in there. Even over here, we didn't get a trade set up until right here, and I missed that trade setup. We did grab onto this right here. That was a break even. Then we picked up 6 ticks there, and we picked up 10 ticks there to give us plus 16 on the morning session. We ended up with a break even on this trade. And you see we're in a nice trend. We were in a nice trend. But it changed directions right down here where it failed to put in a lower swing. During the break, there was a long trade right here off the BBC for about 6 or 8 ticks, and that was it for the gold this morning. Okay, now in the euro, I didn't do anything with the euro today, but right here, toward the beginning of the morning, there was a shorting opportunity right here, but I think the low of the day was right there at the time, so I wasn't really interested in it. It got followed up with another one right here, but again, the low of the day was right there at the time, so I didn't do anything with it. It turned around and started moving back up and trending up You see we have higher highs and higher lows. And so right here was a long opportunity that I missed. And then it just got really sideways. Everything got sideways today. You know, the YBR trades, they were working out this morning. Given the lack of direction, the YBR trades were working out this morning. Crude oil, let's see. We'll start back here at the beginning of the morning session. Now, again, I don't know why today that the markets were so flat. But our first trade on crude was right here. We picked up 10 ticks on that. Second one was right here. We picked up 12 on that. The third one was right here. We ended up with 5 on that to put us at plus 27. Then we had a break even there, and then things just went flat. And that's, sadly, that's the way it was during the break. Now, let me scroll back here. Now, just so you guys know, I'm going to be doing something starting tomorrow. You know, I used to do my Tuesday meetings at 1:15. I'm now going to do Tuesday meetings at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. 2 on Tuesdays. Okay. And if you want to sign up for that, you should send me an email. It just says Tuesday in the header section. And I'll create and send you the link for that tomorrow. This afternoon, I already have a meeting scheduled. And tomorrow, I have a meeting scheduled. And Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So my schedule's filling up. But tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be doing the meeting. Okay? And what I'm going to do in that meeting is go over the YDR trades, the trades and the trade setups. And I can do it in any market that you want me to do it in. So it's going to be up to you guys. When the meeting starts, it's going to be up to you guys. You know, I'll show the 4 markets that we typically trade in. But if you want me to do anything else outside of those 4 markets, then you need to let me know. Okay. Okay, so on the ES, right here when we dropped down through this weekly trading zone, we had a shorting opportunity right there. And I know a lot of the guys this morning were saying that they got their goal for the day right there. I missed the trade. I didn't get filled. It turned around, went back up through the weekly trading zone. It didn't really give a trade setup. You know, using what we typically use in the morning session, it didn't give a trade setup. It did give a YBR right there. And it gave a YBR short right there for that move down. But it just got really choppy and sideways. And for the stuff that we do in the room in the morning session, you know, step 1 is make sure you have a trend. And we really didn't have a good trend here all morning. You see, we broke through right here. And it just flattened out. It just flattened out. You know, and we went from this zone to this zone. I'm sure Dwayne's going to be telling you in a few minutes. We went from zone to zone, back to the zone. But there was a long opportunity here going up to the zone that we didn't get filled on. And let's see. See, we weren't trending here, so I wouldn't do anything in here. Now up here where we broke dynamic resistance, you could have taken a long trade right there, but it was going into the high of the day. So there was really nothing you could do. And we didn't do anything with the ES this morning. Okay. So back to the spreadsheet. if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 20th day of July, 2020. Today we made 27 ticks in crude and 16 ticks in gold. Put us at plus 430 on the morning session. Now that's $430 with one contract in 2 hours. And as you just saw, I missed a bunch of the trades. I only took 8 of them. Let's see, it says that right here. Today it took 29 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract. And on the month now, we're up $4,711. That's over 13 trading days, averaging $362 per contract per trading day. On the year, we're at $48,276. That's over 131 days, averaging $368 per contract per trading day. Now, if you have not gotten into our free trial and you want to, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. And right here, it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that, and it'll bring you to this page, EminiTradingSchool.com. On this page, all you need to do is scroll down to where it says name, email, phone number, and you can tell us a big trading challenge so we can tailor our one-on-one sessions just for you. Hit the send button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So you got to click on that link. Okay. Okay. Anybody have any questions about anything that I just said? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Then Glenn and Ray, I'll create your meeting links and send them out to you. And John's already in here. So Dwayne, if you want to take it back, we can pass it back out to you. Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, South Mountain, Studio A, America's largest city park. And John is already in here, Dwayne. So. Today, 29 minutes and 2 trades, $100 per contract. 106 day in a row. Knock on wood. All right.
Instead of being supported by red and falling, we ran right into blue and climbing, which you should always think of as potential support. It was support, and so that took us up. Now the alert, I caught that, Valerie, thank you very much. Long side for the S&P, it's 30 to 30. That's the area we're dealing with right now. And we have a carryover alert from last week in the logic channel that deals with this area up here. Okay. Now, the alerts came out last night, 25 minutes after the open. So that was this candle right here. Okay. Price was above the BBC. It was on this candle during the 9 p.m. Eastern candle. The price traded below the BBC through the zone, hit the trigger. It was 1, 2, 3 nice opportunities. We're still waiting on this move here to take us higher. Now, that is a current zone there, 3225/26. Next zone above that is going to be above 25. The one above 25.26 is 43.44. First price has to get through this area. Okay, on the Dow. Last night's alert on the short side, 26495 from 26,495. $26,495. We traded down to 26,358. It's a move of 137 points. At $5 a point, that's a $685 per contract move. Price did not trigger here a second time. It did trigger over here multiple times. The difference is for the short, you had red and falling. Okay, so as we trigger over here, now you had a pretty good distance down to the BBC. So when price starts to fall, we expect the BBC to be good support, and it was. But you've got to keep in mind that if you're going short, you're running into support times 2. BBC, ruin climbing, and weakened trading zone. Okay. So while this was good to go, this you have to proceed with extreme caution. Now here you have red and flat basically, and you have a couple triggers, but you've got the BBC right below you, so there's just not much room for the market to fall. The long side is up at 266.35. That number very well could come into the picture later today. Okay. Last night on the Russell, CTA was to be short at 1464. Took us down to the zone 1457. So that would be 7 points at $50 a point, $350 per contract traded. And of course, if I extend that line across, just like with the S&P and the Dow, while there was a trigger, not a good trading opportunity because you're dealing with blue and climbing. This is why it's so important. You never trade an alert just because it's an alert, especially with the CTAs. Now, logic, the first time it triggers, you still need to check the chart to see if market structure has changed. If the CTA, if the logic alert came out in the last, 10, 15 minutes to an hour, 2 hours, then chances are market structure going to be the same because we're dealing with 30-minute candles here. But with CTAs, this came out at 6:25 p.m. last night. So by 6:25 a.m. this morning, 12 hours later, you can see that the dynamic changed from red and falling to blue and climbing. Blue and climbing is not conducive to a short trade. Long side for the Russell, 1478, which we have not seen yet. Next is the NQ. We looked at the daily already. Here is the 30-minute. So the short side last night for the NQ, 105.77, and the first swing low took us down to 105.66. It's basically $200 per contract traded. And then the next trigger took us down to 52. That's about 25 points at $20 a point, $500 per contract traded. And then we triggered a third, a fourth time, and we made it down to the zone at 105.45. So 75 to 45, that'd be 30 points, $20 a point, $600 per contract traded on this move. Now the long side for the NQ was 107.10. 107.10. And the swing high so far, 829. Now, 829 to 710. That's over 100 points, but we'll just leave it at 100. We'll call it 100. $20 a point, that's a $2,000 per contract move. You've earned the right to trade 10 contracts. It's a $20,000 move. I have to urge you to exercise extreme caution. Do not go live before you qualify to go live based upon the 2420 blueprint. When you do go live, you only go live with one contract, and you trade that one contract until you've increased your account balance enough to underwrite and pay for the second contract. And then moving forward, every time the blueprint says it's time to add another contract, it's always added to the profit you earn in the market. And if the blueprint says it's time to add, but you don't have the profit in your account to underwrite adding another contract, don't add. Book a mentoring session so we can go over the trades and see why it might be that you don't have funds in your account to support adding the next contract. Okay? Really important. I cannot stress that enough. And it's so very tempting. If you have the money, whatever your day job is or your previous career, you did good, you put away some money, let's try to hang on to it. Okay? Very tempting to just go live right away. And when that doesn't work out, we'll just add some more contracts. That'll probably fix it. And then when that doesn't work, just add more. Don't do that. It doesn't end well. I promise you. I've worked with a lot of traders over the last 15 years. I've never seen that end well. Not once. Not one time. So, $2,000 per contract move. Covered the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ. Let's go to crude. Okay. The short side for crude is 40.40. And that's right here. The first trigger went nowhere. Made it 2 ticks. Okay, price got back above the trigger, and from 40.40 we dropped to 40.20. That's $200 per contract traded. And then on the next trigger, and right here you've gone to blue, right? You don't have that red and falling that you really want. Over here, even though we had this tremendous move, you're coming down into blue and climbing. Your best bet is to let this thing go through the trigger, take out this swing low, even this swing low. I think I put an additional alert. I think I put an alert in logic, in the logic channel, to take advantage of a break of this low, which took us down to this weekly trading zone from last week, which was 39.95/40. So definitely some tradable moves here. And then on the long side for crude, we're right at the trigger, 40.90. Okay. Now, price has made a pretty powerful move, and we're coming into potential resistance right here. A situation like this, I would want to see price give me a little bit of a pullback. That's almost a parabolic move there. Okay, the 24% Fibonacci retracement is going to be about 40.70. Now, you'll notice here, this area where we would expect resistance, failed the first time, failed the second time, made it through the third time. So as we move higher, could we see the same type of thing play out here? Absolutely. And again here, yep. Then you have a little bit of room to run up to this week's zone at 41.20/25. On gold, last night's alert, consider being long 18.16. That's right here. 18.16. Okay. And from 18.16, zone overhead 18.19. That is a current this week zone. We put in a swing high. So if we just to there, that's $300 per contract traded. We actually ran up to 21.5, so that's $500 per contract traded. And then we got back below the trigger, and we ran up to 23, so that's $700 per contract traded. And we're consolidating here just below a weekly zone, just above the trigger, just above the BBC. If price would drop right now down into this area where it's connecting with a weekly zone. Now that 18.15 is a last week zone, but pulling into this area to the BBC, getting below the trigger for another run back up to 18.19, that would be a nice opportunity. Concierge Trade Alert last night and Logic 247 alert for silver. Consider being long 1982. When I measured this morning, we had run up 42 cents. That works out to $2,400 per contract traded. Silver outperforming gold to the upside. Silver, in my opinion, that's all it is an opinion. It's much more likely for silver to double in price over the coming months than gold. Gold would have to go to $3,600, $3,700, $3,800. That's a place it's never been. We are at all-time historic highs in gold. Silver, on the other hand, has traded 50 bucks. So in order for silver to double from this point, we'd only have to go to $40, and that's a place it's already been. And markets tend to be very comfortable going where they've been before. So you're not having to carve out new territory. So that covers us on the S&P, on the Dow, on the Russell, on the NQ, crude, gold, and silver. Now, let me jingle John's phone and let him know that he needs to open up his mic on his end. Hey, John. Good morning. Looks like you're muted on your end. I've got you open on my end.
Yeah, I just actually unmuted it. Short.
What, you can't get it unmuted on your end?
Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, you're good to go. All right.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to the show. Hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. It's funny, I was telling people this morning to be keeping a good eye on Tesla because it was just under 1,500, and it kind of reminded me when it was under 500. Remember I mentioned that a few times, and when it went through it, it went up very, very dramatically. And that's what's happened. Hold on one sec.
Here's Tesla. Let's see how Netflix is faring after it got ravaged the other day.
Yeah, so something happened. I just had a feeling we were going to pop this thing today because, you know, in a way, as you probably, I think you and I talked about this on Friday or Saturday, the market, you know, looked a bit weak going into the close on Friday for the first time. It was a little bit different from last 6 or 7 weeks. And so we got this, and then it opened a bit higher last night. That was a sure sort of a giveaway that they might knock it down, which they did. But they didn't knock it down too much. You know, if you notice, the Dow didn't really go down much more than about 150 or so, and the Nasdaq, you know, like about 50. And then during the night, it sort of made a turn on this vaccine news. And as I suggested last week, we were going to begin a furious retesting of the highs. And if you look at, you know, some of the leaders like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Adobe, all these high flyers are really pushing hard.
I don't think any of the FANG. We've had one FANG stock report so far, Netflix, but I don't think the others report for another week or two yet.
Yeah, no, and so, you know, I mean, I believe we're somewhere between 1 and 5 weeks away from a pretty significant top of some sort, and it could be, you know, given the strength of the market today, I would be erring on the long side rather than the short side at the moment.
Here's S&P daily. So here's today's candle, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday's intraday high at 32.33 and a quarter. If we can close above that today, then that opens the door for us to challenge this important area here at 32.72, basically.
Really looks like we're heading that way, and remember, you know, we're 10,800 now on the Nasdaq, plus potentially heading back above 11.
Yeah, here's the
possibly
incubator chart right here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks super bullish, right?
Incredible, yeah. Despite
so,
everything going on and all that's happened and continues to happen in the uncertain future, I mean, the Oval Office is in jeopardy, rioting in the streets.
Yeah, and then there's the vaccine stocks have been taken a haircut today. They started, you know, they were very strong going into the opening as the Nasdaq was rallying into the open, and then they kind of got the jitters and started selling off. And I did, Tesla. Look at Tesla. See, Tesla just shot up a minute ago. I mean, it's you know, if you just bought 100 shares, could have made about 7 or 8 grand on that trade already today. I think
intraday look at Tesla.
You know,
every
it just looks to me like they're gonna run this thing back up, maybe even to 2,000.
Well,
You know,
you've got
from here.
this gap over here. We'll
Right.
close the gap at, let's see, what was the
But,
opening
but
price?
remember, I said it
16.59.
on Friday that if we do get this rebound, it'll be a furious. You know, it's almost like, you know, when we go up for a retest, it's with more fury than the original run up, in a way. So, and it's happening with stocks like Adobe and some of these other ones. So, it's kind of weird. Look at the transports after all the glory of last week. They're getting knocked down today. So that's a little bit of a warning sign.
Speaking of Elon Musk, have you looked at his new internet service?
No, I haven't. Oh, you mean the spatial thing? The space thing? Yeah, that's
It's
fantastic.
called Starlink, I believe, is the
Yeah.
name of it. I signed up for the beta test. I need to check my email. I haven't heard back from them yet. High-speed internet access across the globe. It's a little dish, a little portable dish, and unlike satellite TVs where you've got to zero them in and get them pointed exactly at the satellite, this guides and directs itself. So you just set it up, and it finds the satellite on its own.
That's pretty
High-speed broadband internet to locations where access has been unreliable, expensive, or completely unavailable. This is a real game changer because I've said for a long time that I thought, part of Trump's infrastructure program should be to make sure that every home and office in America has access to broadband internet, because that would bring not only education but jobs to remote areas like the Appalachia, where people really struggle even to survive nowadays.
Yeah, no, this
Even
is
in
a
good
game
times.
changer. This is a game changer for sure. You know, it's going to bring the giga. Well, hopefully, it's going to bring giga type of speed.
I don't know what the projected speed is.
I think it's around a gig.
Is
It looks like it's going to be something pretty powerful. So that would be phenomenal. And it's kind of, no borders. I mean, it's basically a global system. So
Starlink speed. See if it tells us what they think it's going to be. 1 gigabit per second. There you go.
yeah,
That's fast. That's faster than what I have right now.
sure is. It sure is. And that it's these little things. Who knows? That news just came out. Probably helped pop the stock, because everything to do with what Musk is doing is kind of helpful to Tesla. So.
Here's a price, John. CE floated the idea of a figure somewhere around 100 and 300. That means all in all, Starlink could have launched for somewhere around the $80 per month mark, plus an extra 100 to 300 for installation costs. Well, my understanding was that this was
that's a
something
pretty
that you
good
could
deal.
move around, but maybe not.
80 for sort of ubiquitous internet anywhere. That's a pretty decent deal. It's not that you can get it cheaper than that in some places, but pretty competitive. So, and there's something going on with the N phase today, which we've mentioned before. It's really rocketing
What's the
higher.
symbol on that one?
ENPH.
In phase. And is this the?
Right. That's a solar type of deal, and I think that it's rubbing off on Tesla as well today. Remember, they've still got that solar company. So that was kind of a news item that came out just before Tesla took off. We really, honest to God, I think we're almost for sure going to test the 11,100 again on the Nasdaq 100, and we're not normally. Remember, a week ago we turned at about 11 o'clock in the morning on the Monday. It's doing the opposite today. Actually, the way it dipped down at the open was generated a very big buy signal on the Nasdaq, and it's really. This is actually the strongest day in the Nasdaq we've had in a while. We haven't been up 200 for a while in this Nasdaq, maybe for a week. So it's pretty impressive all around. I also
intraday we've got parabolic move going on.
Yeah.
Pretty
You might want to
much.
put Twitter up, Dwayne, as well. I got a feeling something's going on with Twitter. It's acting quite well today. It just made a small new high.
Well, it's certainly on everybody's mind of late with the hacking and
Well, the hacking was a buying opportunity when they knocked it down.
yeah.
But it definitely looks like it's going to have another run. Going to break the 37 here.
Is this the all-time high right here?
No, it's not. It's got a ways to go, but it's definitally looking like a big
it's
breakout.
trading. It's
Do you see
trading.
that breakout level? It's quite significant, actually.
Mhm.
I think breaking up through there is a pretty big deal. It's got a really great reverse head and shoulders. Look at the measured move. I mean, this thing could take it up to 50 or 60. And I think basis, Facebook, and all these other things, it's pretty. It's actually got an incredibly dynamic-looking structure. This thing.
Facebook is starting to get pretty draconian with how they're monitoring posts and flagging posts, and of course, everybody's going to say it's not fair to their way of thinking. Some are going to say they err too far on the side of the left, but Facebook has changed the way people live their life. We used to talk about, stay out of other people's business, don't be up in everybody else's business. People used to try to keep their private life private, but now people just willingly put it out on Front Street. It's the one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen. And Zuckerberg's just smiling. I guess he's got a lot to smile about. What else you want to look at? Anything else? Okay. All right, there's an alert in the channel, guys, for the NQ. So keep an eye on that. We've covered. There's S&P still. We're at the top of that channel. We're struggling with that 3230. Here's the Dow. Okay. Now, if we get another trigger on the short side here, and the long trigger's up here, short side, you got blue and flat right below you, so be careful with that one. The Russell. Now this one, our man in the street. Below the BBC, down to the zone, pop back up to red and falling. Now, red and falling in the BBC could prevent us from getting back above the trigger. So, we got a low on the current 30-minute candle. This is only 8 minutes old. We've still got 22 minutes left in the life of this candle. So something around 1459. Right down to the zone. Let's see, the zone this week is 1456.57. There's 56.57. So there's a window of opportunity. Right here. Okay, so we take out this low entry, and if you want to be real conservative with it, looks a little more something like that. So that's basically 1460 down to 1458. In fact, I'll put that in the alert channel. This will be alert number 4619. RTY U20. $14.60. Target $14.58. And then potential support here. Yeah, let's just go with the zone. 56, 57. WTZ 1456/1457. Okay. And it is in the channel. Okay. All right. So that's the Russell. Let's take one last peek at the NQ. NQ still climbing. There's an alert in the channel right now. 10/8/35. Up to 45 with potential resistance at 60 and potential resistance again at 80. And you got a weekly zone at, it's the highest weekly zone for the NQ this week, and it's only Monday. 10/980/10/981. Silver this morning, after it put in this high, we were looking for a pullback on the 5-minute chart. You, John?
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to duck out for a minute. Things, but
so we were awaiting that 5-minute pullback, guys, on silver this morning, and now here's what happened. We had red and falling. We got below the BBC. So I told you on the pullback to the 5-minute, you got to wait for the pullback and then wait to start printing green. So that's going to give us an opportunity from 2024 up to 2026, and then of course potential resistance here at the high of the day. Anything else that you want to cover, John?
we probably covered most of it. It just looks real bullish right now, and you know, as I say, it's not doing what it did last week. It's doing the opposite. It's getting stronger as the day goes on.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, it kind of looks like, you know, sometimes we get a pullback between
S&P really struggling at this area here.
Between now and maybe 230, something like that. And then if there's a rally into the close, it probably means we're gonna push higher overnight. And given the way Tesla's going, I think we're probably going to gap up 50 or 100 bucks tomorrow on this stock. Just given the way it's going at the moment. So. I mean, this Starlink, you know, a lot of people probably don't even know about it, and they're already just finding out about it. And it's really,
I wasn't aware of it the other day until Tim mentioned it to me.
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, you know, the number of satellites involved and the complexity of it, and the whole concept is just mind-boggling. It's just another break, you know. It's actually what's been needed like for the last 20 years, and it's finally getting delivered. You know, and with alacrity, and it's obviously going to be just gigantic. I mean, it's probably going to be a huge revenue generator.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you could end up having hundreds of millions of people, maybe even a billion users worldwide. You know, something like that. So it's a really big deal. Yeah, and the beauty of it is once it's in place, it's like net income. You know.
Yeah,
it's going to go.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, John.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great afternoon.
Have a great afternoon. All right, guys. If you have a question, put it in the chat box as we go to our good word for the day. Now, we've all gone through challenging times in our life. I don't know, maybe you haven't, but most of us have. Whatever you've lost, whatever the enemy has stole from you, the good news is that God can restore everything. And he did it with Job, right? Job 42:10 says, "The Lord restored his fortunes." Job didn't just have a fortune, he had fortunes, plural. Job had it all. Financially, family, everything. In his book, The Spiritual Lives of the Great Composers, Patrick Kavanagh discusses George Frederick Handel's musical masterpiece, The Messiah. An unpredictable composer at best, Handel spent much of his up and down career moving from one failure to another. In those days, declaring bankruptcy wasn't an option, and by 1741, Handel was drowning in debt. Without a miracle, prison was inevitable. That was a very real thing back in the day, debtor's prison. You know, today, you can file bankruptcy. No one wants to, but sometimes situations require it. But God bless America, no one is imprisoned for their debt anymore. Handel decided to perform his farewell concert and just retire a failure at age 56. But when a friend handed him a libretto on the life of Jesus based on selected scriptures from the Bible, everything changed. Handel threw himself into writing and composing, and in a staggering stretch, completed part 1 in 6 days, part 2 in 9 days, and part 3 6 days later. He worked feverishly, driven by one overwhelming purpose. His servants left meals outside his door. Now, here's a guy drowning in debt, about to head off to debtor's prison. He still has servants. Interesting. Servants left meals outside his door, afraid to disturb him. The master was at work. Once, when a servant did find the courage to open the door, the startled composer cried out with tears streaming down his face, "I think I did see all heaven before me, and the great God himself." He had just finished the much celebrated Hallelujah chorus. Now, this is an incredible comeback story. And you know, the Bible is filled with them. The first 41 chapters in the book of Job describe all that he had lost: his health, his wealth, and his family. Then in the last chapter, Job 42:10, we read the Lord restored his fortunes. The Lord blessed Job in the second half of his life even more than in the beginning. And what did God do for George Frederick Handel and for Job? What he did for them, he can do for you. The first step is to let go of whatever it is you're hanging on to. Maybe it's remorse. Maybe it's regret. You've got to put it all in God's hands. Now, we're pretty good at turning over parts of our life to God. But he wants it all. The whole thing. That means relationships. That means finances. Everything. You've got to show him that you trust him with it all. He created it all. Anything that we have or that has ever passed through our hands was never really ours. We were just stewards. And maybe we dropped the ball. Maybe we had it going on at one point. And now maybe not so much. If God can restore Job's life, if he can restore Handel's life, he can restore your life. But you have to surrender it all so that he can do what only God can do, the truly miraculous. When man says there is no way, God has a way. But you've got to trust him. You've got to commit to doing what he puts in front of you. Having things restored probably means that you'll have to make some uncomfortable decisions, do some uncomfortable things. The question becomes are you willing to, number one, surrender everything to God? And then number two, be obedient to what he tells you to do. There's a way out. Now, the way out may not be pleasant, but once you're out, that's real nice, right? So the ball's in your court. Now, maybe maybe the enemy has convinced you, and you've in turn convinced yourself, that God trusted you with so much. He showed you so much favor. And you dropped the ball and he's done with you. You had your shot, you blew it, forget about it. That's not the God we serve. That's not the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and my grandmother. He's not the God of second chances. He's the God that forgives whatever you've done if you come before him with a broken and contrite spirit and are now willing to heed his instruction. You know, sometimes we fail to hear the voice of God because we're so captivated with our own voice. We're so caught up in our own story, we can't hear, we can't see the story that God is trying to write, the symphony he's trying to write with our life. Be still and know that he is God. Repent and sin no more. If you had it, you lost it. God doesn't want to withhold any good gift from you. But you got to let him know. This time. You're going to be faithful. You're going to be obedient. And as unpleasant as it may be, you won't have to go through it alone. When everybody else leaves the room, when everybody else turns their back, there'll still be two left in the room. You and Jesus. And that's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.